I never knew something as simple as a knock on the door could forever send me into a frozen state of terror. It all started with a cold and rainy autumn evening. The wind was blowing fiercely, whistling through the little cracks in the windows and door frames. I was sitting by myself in the living room, watching a terrible homemade zombie flick when I heard a dull thud of footsteps walking up the stairs to my porch. I muted the television, sat upright, and turned my ear towards the front door. I heard the storm door open, then slam shut within 2 seconds of it opening. I quickly stood up, stumbling over the small ottoman sitting in front of me. I turned on the light in the entryway, then peeked through the curtain on the little door window to see who was there. No one. I glanced out further to see that I had left my driver's side window cracked open. I cursed under my breath and grabbed my keys from the side table and ran outside to my car. I quickly rolled my window up, then run back into the house, soaking wet. I hastily shut the front door, as to not let any heat escape. As soon as it latches, the knocking begins again. Annoyed, I sigh, thinking I forgot to latch the storm door. I turn the knob, ripping the door open when I see a child standing in front of me on the porch. Startled, I gasp loudly, clutching my chest. The child, a girl no older than 10 years, stood on my porch in a raincoat, looking down to the floor. "Are you alright?" She says nothing. I take a step closer to her. "Hey, can I help you with something?" I started to panic inside a little because something seems terribly off about this girl. Then I notice she's completely dry. Not a single drop of rain has touched her coat. I look around to see that my porch is flooded, where the wind had blown the rain against my house. Even if she had been on my porch this whole time, she still would have been drenched. I stand there, staring at this child who wouldn't even look at me. "Little girl, please answer. May I please borrow your phone?" Her voice is calm and kind of deep. She never takes her eyes off of the ground. I inhale sharply. Surprised by her sudden question, I weakly ask, "Who do you want to call? Do you need the police? Your parents? Who?" I'm trying to stay calm, but my voice is shaking. Something is terribly wrong, but I can't figure it out. The girl stands very still and starts sniffling. "May I come in? It's so cold. Do you have any food?" I stare at the girl, confused by her monotone voice. I don't feel comfortable letting her inside my house. I feel bad because she's a child, but something about her terrifies me. I tremble. "What is your name? Where do you live?" The rain suddenly stops, like turning off a faucet. The wind stops, also making the neighborhood 20 times quieter. I get shivers down my spine. The girl slowly lifts her hooded head, finally making eye contact. I try to scream, but the only thing that comes out are aggravated breaths of terror. Her eyes, oh my god, her eyes, as black as the abyss that she had likely crawled out of. Her pale white skin glowed a soft white, making her eyeballs so much darker. She stepped closer to me. "Please let me in. I'm so cold." I stare in fear when the wind and rain turn on like a switch behind her. I slam the door in her face, running to my phone. I dial 911, barely holding on because I'm shaking so much. "911, what's your emergency?" I try to explain what's happening, but just sound crazy. There's a girl on my porch, not wet, black eyes. Oh my god. I hear the lady from 911 trying to calm me down. Ma'am, calm down please. I can't understand you. You said there's a girl on your porch?" I stutter. "Yes, she's out there. It's out there. She has black eyes and wants to come in. I won't let her in." I hear her knocking on my door. Each knock louder than the rest. I cry out, "Leave me alone! I'm not letting you in!" The knocking ceases. I sigh in a small relief. The woman on the phone asks me where I am and if I need a police officer to come. I say, "Yes, please hurry," then hang up. 10 long minutes later, I see police vehicle lights dancing on my living room wall. I sigh in relief and hear a loud banging on the door. I run, a little hesitantly, and answer it. "Thank God you're here, officer." I gasp. No officer, only his car, sitting in the rain, driver's side door wide open. I walk out onto the porch, frantically searching everywhere for him. I run back to the backyard, dripping with rain, water, shouting, "Officer! Officer! Where are you?" I run back to the front of the house when I see that awful girl standing in front of me, glaring at me. She sounds aggravated now. "Let me in so I can use your phone. I'm lost. Please help me." I dart up the porch stairs, shoving her out of my way, throwing her off the porch. I look back to see her ankle twisted in an impossible angle. She doesn't scream or cry. She just stands up, limping towards me, dragging her ankle behind her. I scream in horror, slamming and locking the door behind me. The knocking continues. I just want it to stop. I had to do something. I run to my kitchen, open the silverware drawer, and pull out a sharp knife. The knocking will not stop. I walk toward the front door, raising the knife above my head and grabbing for the doorknob. I quickly open the door to see the officer standing in front of me, his gun drawn, pointing at me. Out of instinct, he fires, shooting me in the chest. I drop the knife and fall to the ground. He enters the door and kneels beside me, yelling into his radio that he needs backup in an ambulance. He puts pressure on my chest as the blood pours out of me. I look behind him to see the black-eyed girl standing directly behind him, looking down at me, smiling with her sharp teeth glistening. I'm choking on my own blood at this moment, gasping in terror. My eyes widen. They never close again. The last thing I ever see is that girl and her harshly blackened eyes, smiling down at me like she just won a prize.